Long ago, five men set out from their own paths to achieve their own destinies. Now they are brothers, united under one cause. Alone they are strong, together they are unbreakable. They are bonded by metal.
Welcome to Bonded by Metal. I'm your host, the Disciple of Rock, joined by my friend and fellow co-host, Nick Weiser. Today we've got a fun topic, although I think one we're going to have a very unified opinion on. Maybe like that we just don't care, but I think it's a newsworthy topic. And that is, was Ghost snubbed at the Grammys by the band Turnstile with the blink of an eye song Birds that just, listen, maybe there's bias for me on this one, but it didn't do anything. But let's get into Nick Weiser's opinion. So the song that was nominated for Ghost is the song Lacrima. Have you heard the song?
I've heard the song. I've heard the album way before obviously the Grammy stuff happened. When I heard like about Turnstile winning, I was actually kind of surprised because if you had told me that 10 years ago, I would have never believed a band like that would have been on the Grammys nominated, period. Not that I've ever cared personally. I've never cared about the Grammys. I always thought it was why go to people who truly don't try to understand your genre of music. And I mean, I could use the convenient excuse of the Jethro Tull shit show from the 90s where they got the best metal performance over Metallica, but that's just way too convenient and kind of been beaten to death over the years. So I just look at it as like, I think about like the rap group Public Enemy. I'm not like a rap guy per se, but I come from that mindset that, hey, fuck the Grammys. As long as you have fans who like the music, that's all that matters. Now, as far as Turnstile goes, I actually like a lot of hardcore. I think they're okay. I feel like there's better hardcore bands, but they're not like a great band or an awful band. They're just kind of there for me. So I'm shocked that I'm just kind of like, usually the Grammys, from what I've gathered, they always kind of pick bands off of popularity. And I thought, well, Ghost is obviously a million times more popular than Turnstile, so I don't know what happened there. So, I mean, I don't have any skin in the game in terms of like the Grammys and, oh no, they definitely shafted a band that I like or didn't like. It just, to me, is it's just the Grammys just being the Grammys.
Yeah, I think it's definitely par for the course because not only do they not know music, they especially don't know metal music more, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that like Ghost is a recognizable name where everyone knows them, for better or for worse. There's a bit of infamy with them, but considering that they did something that I don't know when the last time a rock, like a non-traditional pop music band, packed Madison Square Garden, because they sold Madison Square Garden out, right? So for a band that is in Ghost genre between hard rock and metal, that's an extraordinary feat to sell out at Madison Square Garden, right? And they sold out TD Garden in Boston. Like, you're talking about two major cities on the East Coast, sold out arenas. That's not for nothing. And I like, again, maybe this is me being naive, but I have not seen anything with Turnstile. This is the first time I've heard of them.
Oh, I've heard of it for a long time. Yeah. I've obviously been, paying attention to a lot of the stuff in the lesser known scenes for years. So like for me, people Turnstile, that may be the first time hearing them. I've heard of them for 8-9 years, something like that. I've known about. I remember when they would play in Chicago to 30, 50 people, and I kind of knew at that time that they were definitely going to be somebody someday. If you had told me it was going to be like this, I would have not predicted that. That's for sure, because they just seemed like one of those bands who was happy to, let's just say, preach to the converted, and that's fine. That's usually 95% of hardcore bands. Most bands of that type of scene don't really blow up. I mean, you have the exceptions, Hatebreed, obviously. And then I guess you could say to a lesser extent, Knocked Loose, and then you had Turnstile to the mix as well. But then you had the more OG bands, Sick of It All, Madball, Agnostic Front, all those bands. they had their followings, but they were never like bands that blew up per se. But it was fun because they're still all going strong, and they have their small but loyal, dedicated followings per se. So for me, Turnstile, it was like shocked because they're a much lesser known band. But carry on.
Yeah, I predicted it back when, all this was coming out with Ghost. I'm like, they're going to win a Grammy. I'm like, the marketing for this album and the new Papa was perfect, right? You were so excited for it. They grew fans for sure, right? Like they just and they were always huge, right? They shot up in popularity, at least I think, right?
I think they did too, especially from what I looked into it. I think the TikTok stuff definitely really played to their advantage because they would there's a venue that they play out here in Illinois called the Allstate Arena. Prior to the previous album, they would co-headline that venue. But now the last time around, with the most recent album, they solely headlined that venue on their own with, I think, one support act. So that's a very strong sign of progression that, they're playing this, 19,000 seater venue that they need a big name to, fill the venue up with. But now they do that on their own without having another big name attached. That's obviously an accomplishment and a feat in itself. And most metalized metal bands, hard rock bands, like outside of the obvious, the Nickelbacks, the Slipknots of the world, not many bands fill up those type of venues anymore. It's a rarer thing now.
No, and it wasn't long ago when Ghost was touring with Metallica as an opening act, right? Now, Ghost again, they can solo carry themselves and pack out houses, and I think maybe that's just more why it's just. I think it's what you said, right? I don't care, but the irritation, I think, for me at least, just comes. It's a sign of where the talking heads, the music industry are, where they don't know, they don't follow the music, they don't know the music as well as I think the people on the ground do, right? Because
that's always been the case. I've been involved in the scene for 20 years. You're a bit newer to it, obviously, which is fine. But this is one of those, oh, you sweet summer child moments because I've seen this go on for so long. So it's just like, welcome to the party.
yeah. Like I said, it's par for the course. You expect it, but I just think, again, maybe just being a really big fan of the band Ghost, that it kind of is maybe it hurts a little just because it's you wanted them to come out on top and prove to the world that they are probably my favorite current modern day band that was founded within this century. Like I said, I think it's just one of those things, but I think that's all we really got to say on the topic. It's more of just a kind of a news thing, just kind of we don't give a crap, but hey, it just kind of shows how badly the music industry sucks these days. But hey, as I said, that's all we got for you. Till I rear my voice in the next one, live hard and stay free. There